Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week. Head to KliqThisTV.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
You can kind of fit it in to the beat. It must be in the same time as our opening. Xanadu of the 1980 film of the same name, starring Olivia Newton-John and apparently Gene Kelly. Didn't know that. Sometimes whatever we're talking about in the pre-show just bleeds in.
I'm not letting that bleed in.
Kev, that song's going to be on my mind all night until I watch it. You know what?
Good for you.
You know what? You got a compliment from Lana the other day. The thing keeps popping up on my feed because people keep liking it of you and Martin Short doing the duet. No business like show business.
1,000 years ago.
And I played it through, and Lana was on the other side of the room. She goes, "He ate that last note." So. You got props from Lon.
All right, Lon. Thank you.
Yeah, so anyone on my feed, you've seen what I'm talking about. It is a rather amusing little clip. And
I don't care.
Out of context. From,
I don't care.
Were you with WCW, right, at that time?
Yeah.
Had to be.
Yeah. I have blonde hair.
Yeah. And so when something like that happens that's spontaneous on a talk show, is that his pitch? Is that your pitch? Are there writers that come up with that you guys?
I wanted to say I wanted to sing Sinatra, but they wouldn't let us use the word cocaine. And I get a kick.
Oh, right.
I wanted to sing that.
Wow. And so Martin Short said, "No. What about this instead?"
He said, "Do you know this?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I know it." And it was because we had Mark was a guy that was I think was the piano the producer, and he I think that was some like fucking I forget what note that was, like a fucking a C or something that he chose. We sang
the key to play the song in.
Yeah.
So you did it in rehearsal once?
No, we just
it was just one take.
He just had me like just kind of la 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 la, and he just picked. He said so.
Was that L.A.? Where'd they do that?
I think so. I don't know.
I don't remember he had a show.
Yeah, actually, the gift was a robe. It said Martin Short Show.
You have it,
and that still is in the. It hangs on the back of the guest bathroom door. So anybody that comes to our house, if they need a robe, they get which if you're one of the 3 people that have stayed in our home,
it obviously doesn't fit you, right?
It's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely, if I did Uber Eats, I could definitely conduct an Uber Eats activity with it on. I mean, my 3-piece package might be right there for the guy to.
Right. Okay.
But
I didn't know where you were going with Uber Eats, but I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want it. If you're ever going to get rid of it, I'd be happy to take a part of Hollywood history like that. Wow. It's not exactly a star on the Walk of Fame, but I would take it.
I'm not sure if I'd want my star being pissed on and come on and slept on and shit on.
Kev, we're talking about Hollywood. Did we make an announcement on the air yet that you are committed to a
Yeah,
film?
you brought it up. You said you got a
Thought it was off air.
no, you got a message from my
From Noel. Okay, yeah,
from
that's
Noel.
right. Okay,
Yeah,
we did talk about it. What's it called? Let's get everybody excited.
Caroline.
We're getting a lot of online because you mentioned it. Oh, that's right. You would have had to set it online because you mentioned it was filming up in
Syracuse.
Syracuse. So some people were asking
I
about.
saw a guy say there's a great pot store. I could make a personal appearance in up there.
Right, I saw that today too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you have time, see, bring some of the Get Blitz beverages. Still waiting. I texted him this week. I said, Mickey, I'm thirsty. Let's go. And he said, my guy is bringing the cases to the post office as we speak. So Kev, you should be getting something we can share on air here.
I got stoned before I went to the gym yesterday.
But this is the first time, Kevin, since the
Ooh.
operation, right?
Yeah. I haven't been stoned in probably 6 months, 5 months.
Did you gummy? Did you flower? Did you
I tinctured.
A little tincture, okay.
A little tincture.
Or how's the speed of the delivery system there? Is it
It took about, because I didn't want to leave the house. So there's a lot of really, like, you know how shit just happens and it's like the perfect day. So we had it's been like hot as it's been like 100 feels like here for forever. But yesterday was kind of 88, so it was kind of bearable, but kind of cloudless. And so I back out of the driveway, and I'm listening, and it's like some rock and roll, and it plays and it plays and it plays and it plays. It was actually a Moody Blues song. So I look at the screen, and it's Sirius XM.
I've heard
It's
of
the Moody Blues, and I'm on classic vinyls.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't have Sirius FM. So I don't know if they're doing a gimmick where they're giving it free. Because I text my wife, I said, see if you got Sirius on your car, because she was out
Yeah.
running errands. So she had it too. And of course, when you're stoned, music is like fucking 8 times better. So I took my time, drove to the gym, and like by the time I got there, man, I was just like listening to the fucking, like everything was just being absorbed. I went into the gym and I trained back, and that's one of the things that if you already have the mind muscle connection on back, you can really fucking. And I probably went 25% lighter on every movement, but did like to the point where I couldn't even do like partial reps. I would take it down to where I couldn't do like a quarter rep. My muscles were so burned out. I left there, I looked 20 pounds heavier, got in my car, and I said to myself, why the fuck don't I do this every time I go to the gym? Yeah, because it's just like, I was so in the zone. I was just like, oh, didn't have it. And all I could think about was I was going back into the car, back into the fucking tunes. So I don't know how Steve, while we're doing this, can you see if Sirius has got like they're running a special? I have no idea how the fuck I would, but because they run an ad during it. And they say you can get it on your phone, you can get it on your this, your that. And I remember we had it for years and years and years because we've got a sound system that goes all through our house. We got Boston Acoustics all through our house, like in the ceilings, and then outside.
Yes, free listening event May 22nd through June 2nd. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to. And of course, that's great from the AI overview. But how the fuck who do I contact?
To what?
Yeah, to keep the train fucking going.
Just it'll say right on your screen there, probably, right? I know someone you can contact. I have his email. You can send.
All right. So anyway, so I that was kind of a highlight yesterday.
No pun intended. And so this, all right. So a couple of questions about a workout while high. I can't remember what a workout feels like anyway, but are you, because you're more relaxed?
No, you're not more relaxed.
You're not. Your
You're more
body
focused. I'm more focused. I'm going in there with a mindset of getting something done. I'm not going in there like, hey, man.
Because that's what I meant. No.
No.
But like, you know how you get the tingle a little bit?
No.
No, you don't get that. Okay.
No.
It's only
my brain just goes into fucking, it's like I take Limitless. Like Bradley Cooper in Limitless.
All right. Well.
No, I'm just
maybe
super
we'll do a
just,
workout.
But I do sativa, so it makes you super focused anyway.
Right.
Indica makes you fucking, drive by the gym and like you're fucking 8 miles away. You're like, where the fuck was I going? Where sativa makes you.
You don't get any paranoia on the sativa ever?
No.
Okay.
No, I got fucking shit. I got medical marijuana cards. I'm 65 years old. My gun's registered. I mean, I got everything covered.
That's like a T-shirt in Florida. Those 3 sentences, one after the other.
Yeah. But that's one thing. One thing I did I came to the conclusion of, because like right now the Democratic Party is like, to me, like they're all fucking like basically sitting Indian style, because I'm not going to say crisscross applesauce. And they're fucking sucking their thumbs and jerking off and crying over everything that's going down in the world right now, and with the Republican Party, and they have no platform, no direction, no idea what they're going to do except piss and moan. And I'm thinking, okay, here's one. How about we get a fucking candidate that is pro Second fucking Amendment? We're never fucking, that's the Second Amendment. Why don't we just say, fuck it?
Remove that obstacle to getting to voters.
Yes. If you get 5%, if you get 3%, we win. We win the last election.
Yeah.
So like, why continue to beat that? I get it. But there are so many fucking guns in this fucking country already. If you stopped the process, like if you never make another car, I'm quite sure if you fucking jaywalk, you'll still get hit by one. There's enough out there to fucking kill you.
I think the candidates try that, Kev, like very late in the game. I remember Kamala doing the
Can't
whole,
be late.
I got a gun. But if you look at the party, you look at the whole party, right? The one thing you could say about the MAGAs, very Nazi-like, in that they all galvanize in lockstep. And they probably, every politician can't be at heart believing in what's going on in Washington, but they stay in lockstep. That for the most part, they stay unified with even the crazy shit. They find that little message, that little bullshit to justify it, and they stay with it. But you look at the Democratic Party, and you look at like the Bernies and the AOCs, and their messaging is so out there sometimes, and that's the flag that the Democratic candidate is carrying.
But at the same time, nobody is going to lose constituents. It's like once you get in the game, it used to be fucking, there was no money in politics back in the day. Back when the largest that you could contribute to a candidate was $1,500. People weren't fucking going into office and coming out fucking $40 million richer. So that's the whole thing now. It doesn't matter whether you're fucking red, whether you're blue, you're a fucking crook. And it's not because for any other reason, the fact that that's just the system that we run under.
So, what do you do to change it?
Well, probably what will happen is that the next vote will go down, and 4 or 5 states will fucking say that they're not going to abide by the vote. California will fracture first, since they're the 4th largest economy in the world. Texas will be second, and then everybody else will kind of start fucking dividing up, and will no longer be a fucking the United States will be gone.
Oh, so you're going for a whole dystopian kind of
Yeah,
platform.
that's where it's going.
That's where it's going. All right. I'm ready.
So I mean, anything less than that, then it's a win for me, right? But if you're
prepared for the worst.
Yeah, prepare for the worst and fucking pray for fucking some sanity. But
it is kind of mind-boggling that the Democratic Party consistently so one thing the Republicans are very good at, we talked before, is when they lose an election, until the stupid stop the steal shit, and that was just a distraction, but when they'd lose an election, they'd focus on local elections, appointees, federal judges, getting people in place for the next decade, and in positions that would become congressional seats, that would become appointments, and then you control the whole underside of the game. They went to work right away in the smaller municipalities. I don't hear any push for the news is dominated by what's happening in Washington, and none of that story is anyone taking the lead and saying, we got to get the rest of the country in order here before we get Washington. You told me today that Obama, when he left, and his last 2 years, by the way, it was a Democratic-controlled Congress.
right, he was lame, yeah.
It was 105,
105, 110
federal justice seats unfilled. Was handed
to Trump, who filled
Trump.
them. Who put Federalists in every one of those.
See, these are the oversights when you get so hyper-fixated on the presidential election and what bill is going before Congress. This is the shit that controls the country. Get the country by the nads if you have your federal justice. If you're
you can see what the feds did today on just, you get somebody to lay something that gums up the tariff thing for Trump. And it's like, but while Trump is doing that, like there's so many, there's so many other things that are going on. Like, I want to think that it's 80 billion that they're taking out of like SNAP and shit like that over 10 years. Like there used to be like the Harvest Food Bank, like that was subsidized to a degree by the government. And now like the second Harvest Food Bank or whatever, that now is like they're not gonna, like there's a lot of those local ones that are no longer, they've been been handing out food to the less fortunate since the 70s that are going to be fucking, bare.
Mm-hmm. And it's just in the big beautiful bill, right?
Yeah, if you're in that 1%, it's a gorgeous thing. I just don't know anybody in that 1%.
Yeah. We're financing their tax break, though. I'll tell you that.
I mean, when you got a guy like Musk that says, "Hey, wait a minute, like, I was cutting shit, but like you're adding $3.5 trillion to what I was trying to cut, and I cut 30 billion, but you're adding $3.5 trillion. I don't see how, that how that works mathematically.
Was his announcement that he's done with Washington and the administration, was that out of disappointment about what's happening in Washington,
No,
or the
I think it's.
shareholders
I think
telling
it.
him to
I,
stop
I
playing on
think
the
it.
fucking tricycle and get back to work being a CEO?
No, I think it was his way of fucking throwing some shade on the fact that his rocket exploded earlier that day.
So that's what I'm saying. It was the running of his company.
Yeah,
Getting
but
back to
that rocket in Texas, fucking both the rocket system that lands back exploded, and that's the one that that's the one that's gonna take our astronauts to the moon again.
Like, everyone out there, you know the videos I'm going to be getting in the middle of the night now. Some feedback from our friends that listened and watched last week. Kevin, James Montana, 29. A pretty touching outreach. He says, Kev, my son has autism. He's 12 years old and going on 13. He loves this podcast. He's very high functioning. When T passed, he cried. You guys make my Monday morning. You guys make a lot of people's Mondays. Shout outs from Baltimore, Maryland, Big Dog.
Thanks, man. And tell your son thank you.
Yeah, shout out to your son if you're listening, buddy. That's a brave thing. You know, I gotta say for a minute, like, there's a series on Netflix, Love on the Spectrum, and it follows people with autism dating, like in various parts of the spectrum, different types, from Asperger's up to whatever. And at first glance, you'd think that that's on there for comedy, right? This is people poking fun. But the hidden part, if that was the agenda, maybe it wasn't, but the hidden part of that, though, is there's so much talk today about, I mean, autism is just one that I'm using, but our differences. And it allows safety for someone like James to talk about, he's got his first and last name there. He's talking about his son, and maybe other people listen. His son listens. The bravery to be, it's okay. You can talk about this now.
Well, I mean, to me, if you have an autistic child, they're it's not like they're from a leper colony. Like there's so many people that I would tell me about my son's autistic. They'd be like, "No, I've met your son before." I said, nah, "He doesn't. It's not like fucking polio or something." I said, he's autistic." I said, "He's just on the spectrum."
But I mean, for the kid, for the parents share, obviously, but for a kid to talk about it, to understand it as best
Well,
they
they
could.
understand it because they're them. They know.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if he's highly functioning.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I'm making an assumption that I don't know if I'd know that there were differences in how I am versus how someone else feels. I don't know how someone else feels, so
I think that
20 years ago,
there's so many people that I've spent time with in my life, whether it be just short periods or long periods, and then to later find out that they were diagnosed autistic and say, "Fuck yeah, I can definitely see that."
When
I
you were a kid,
have a friend of mine that their son's autistic, and like he just hasn't been diagnosed yet, and I do everything I can every time I see him to try to tell him, like, your son's autistic.
Well, this is interesting. And okay, so what does that conversation go like?
Like, if your kid's 11 and he doesn't read, there's something going on.
Doesn't read or can't read?
You don't know because, I mean, I don't know. I just know he can't. like if I sign something to him, he can't read it, or he won't read it. But I don't think he can read it.
Mm.
So that's, and I explained to him last time I saw him. I said, when I was a kid, I said, I said, the education system was very cruel. I said, you were, when you, did your fun with Dick and Jane fucking books, you know, you'd have the Jets, who were the fast readers. You'd have the, the trains. You'd have the cars, and you'd have the turtles. And I'd be in the turtles because I had a hard time reading. It wasn't until fucking 11th grade that I realized that I was fucking dyslexic.
And no one identified it in your school.
Not fucking school systems.
Yeah.
Back then,
Wow.
they put you in remedial reading.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
Hey,
Then what do
slow.
Yeah. So what do? You go take shop classes. You say, fuck this. I'll go take fucking woodworking. I'll do welding. I'll just get my degree because all I'm going to do anyway is go work in a steel mill or a fucking car plant. Then all of a sudden you grow to 6'10", and a bunch of colleges want to give you a scholarship, and you go, all right, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I love when I read people that they talk about my career, and they say, if you weren't 6'10", you wouldn't have had the success you had. I said, you know what? If I was 6'10" and blind, I wouldn't have had the success I had. Like, you can take, if you were 6'10" and had one fucking leg, if you were like, hey motherfucker, what about the fact of I am 6'10"? Like, it doesn't matter why I made it.
Right.
I fucking made it. Like,
I want to touch on your dyslexia admission here for a minute. So how did you
and it's numerically too.
overcome it? No one will believe that you can't read numbers in a contract, first of all.
Well,
so how did you overcome it? Did you do things yourself? Did someone help? What happened?
I mean, I know that fucking the only thing I really read like as a child was comic books. And then when I got a little bit older, I read like Doc Savage novels. But like it would take me like much longer to rifle through a paperback than it would a normal kid.
Right. Did you do anything like like line reading, like put something to block out the rest of the page, or use your finger, or like?
No, because all that did was put a line underneath the fucking word that was jumbled up above it.
Right.
So.
We all got something, right?
I say you don't get everything.
I firmly believe we all get the same number of marbles, Kev. There's just a lot of different jars. And like, you ever play a video game where you have to look at like the attributes of a character? Oh, I'll put 5 in his strength. I'll put 3 in his speed. I think we have the same number of marbles, but we all have them put in different jars, in different quantities, in different
I disagree.
Jars. You think people have some people get no marbles?
Well, absolutely. There's some fucking mouth breathers out there with a 60 IQ that are not Michael Jordan. Just.
Maybe they got a 14-inch hose, though. Like, you don't know. Like, this maybe something.
Oh.
You just never know. John Stone.
They don't know.
Yes.
I remember I was talking to the writers from Saturday Night Live, host and Shen. We did that fuck, was it SummerSlam we did? WrestleMania, we did that proctology fucking skit.
And who were the writers?
The fucking head writers of Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
And we were just sitting around talking. I said, and this is when I was really in my Trump bashing days. And I said to them, like, making Donald Trump the president is like giving a 7-year-old kid a 14-inch cock. Like neither one knows what to fucking do with the fucking deal. It's just like, and they both fucking looked at me like, and then they kind of course they popped, but I just didn't. I don't think they looked at me like. And then I looked right at Colin. I said, you will eventually marry Scarlett Johansson. He said, how do you know that? I said, I just feel it.
Right. I felt your 14-inch cock while I was telling you the joke, and eventually.
Do you ever fucking? I love what. Do you ever watch Saturday Night Live?
I'll sometimes Nicole will put on the broadcast the day after. Weekend Update's always the best segment.
It's the best.
I love those two together,
especially when they write each other's jokes, or they've got, and they're always racially fucking. I just think that's one of the more because I think they're brilliant. I just think sometimes, man, I think that process is so difficult.
That weekly grind's amazing. If you look at that schedule,
yeah,
it's amazing that they get anything done. A couple of weeks ago, Michael Che, there's a picture of Elon and Kanye comes up, and he says, "Thanks to Elon and Kanye, it appears the R word is coming back into vogue, and they're allowed to say it because, well," they just went to the next story. John Stonebreaker has weighed in this week. He says, "Happy Monday. Enjoy the holiday, gents. Can't say enough how your podcast on Mondays is just the fix I need every week." Well, John, wish more people listened like you on the holidays. We're a big commute. We drop at 6 a.m. So we're a big commuter crowd. So we have a little bit of a drop off on those holidays. But thank you, John, for tuning in anyway.
The thing that kills me is like, so I waited all day to make my Instagram post.
What'd you post?
And then I just posted like 1 million headstones in Arlington.
Oh, I did see that.
And it was like nobody, it's like it got like 2 likes and 1 comment. Because everybody else is out fucking eating hot dogs and out at the beach thinking it's like something to, like when people say Happy Memorial Day, I'm like, what do you mean Happy Memorial? Do you even know what this fucking, like you don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
I think they just tag it along with St. Patrick's Day.
You don't even get off for that. It's even more.
It's like, I'm thinking, man, do you realize this is like in remembrance of those that gave their life? Obviously not.
No. When they get on the socials, they do, because people post images like that. But until then, it's rock out with your cock.
I don't think they get it though. That's
what
why
Memorial Day is.
No, that's why I posted like at 11 o'clock at night, because I wanted everybody, when they did see it, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's right," and then they'd have to replay their whole day in their head of all the fucking shit they did, and not once thought about a fallen fucking American.
Right. Correct. Michael C. Scotland, my favorite parts always involve Kevin's insights into finance and politics. You get that? You'll get more of that here this week, Michael.
China is fucking killing us. I watched an interview on God, something. It was something on the internet I looked at. I was watching, and there was 2 people talking, and it was an interview, and the one guy was like the specialist, and they were talking about China mining on the dark side of the moon. Okay? And there's something over there like Hilo or something that starts with an H. I didn't write it down because I didn't know if it was real or not, but it was just one of those things where I said to myself, like, and then the guy says, well, why don't we know what they're doing? He says, well, because we don't have any way to see the dark side of the moon because we don't have satellites that circle the moon. And I'm thinking, why don't we have satellites that circle the moon?
Helium-3.
Yeah, that was the what they were. I said to myself, I'm like, so why would you not?
Because Kubrick's dead. That's why.
Exactly. Why wouldn't you have? I mean, if on one of the earlier test runs up there before you fucking like you couldn't have fucking just left a couple of satellites up there. You can't do that now?
Sure they could.
Why don't they? We don't know what China's doing.
I don't know
China's definitely landed something on the fucking moon over there. They're fucking excavating the fucking
Helium-3.
yeah.
I don't know. We have to look into this. More of our space discussion.
Somebody out there that knows what the fuck I'm talking about, because I obviously don't. Get back to us and explain to us why we don't have satellites that can convey what the Chinese are doing. Why the Chinese are doing this and we're not.
Well, we have the technology. We have the technology for all this, Kevin.
And while we're at it, why was the second plane that hit the second tower fucking gray?
Was this today's text?
No, man.
DM that I got? I got one today. Okay, we have the technology for all this because if you can build a product or create a product that controls odor for up to 72 hours, you can definitely put a satellite back up in there with some kind of night vision to see what's going on the dark side of the moon.
I tend to disagree, but that product stands alone is more than functional. I mean, those are my go-tos.
Mount Fuji, I'm going through the scents. Mount Fuji, bourbon leather, Clover Woods. This is pro sport right here. This is the cream. It's MANDO.
We're not talking Axe, gag you. This is Mama has no problem with a little MANDO.
That's it, because this is not just masking odor. This goes to the root of the odor to control it.
To the base.
Block it to the base. And block it for up to 72 hours. There's solid deodorant sticks, the spray deodorant, which I so love here, the Mount Fuji with the nice opposable top. Such a soft spritz. Let me get a little bit of this. It's not going to blast you with liquid. It's a fine mist. And you can get on the undercarriage, all the nooks and crannies. All the products are baking soda free, paraben free, and they're proven to control odor better than with just a shower and soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, you're still getting benefits if you're using MANDO. We're not fucking around. We use this here. Kevin even gave some great advice for the wipes. Got a pair of sneakers that you're maybe going commando in, just your feet. Throw this in it when you get home. Slide 2 of these into each shoe. Let them set. It's going to eat the odor. It's going to control it in the shoe even. And guys, we want you to get the starter pack because you're going to get a bunch of products, okay? Solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice. Try the mini body wash is great too, and the wipes too. Throw the wipes in there too. Free shipping, and on top of that, a special offer for just our listeners. You get $5 off that starter pack with the exclusive code. Now that's equates to 40% off your starter pack, okay? So you can use the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at checkout when you go to shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support the show. Tell them we sent you. Use the code KLIQ. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with MANDO.
Go commando with MANDO.
I love that one. Should sell that one to them. Go commando. Love it. Scott Armstrong, great episode as usual, guys. I was interested in how Kev has his own company that he uses to pay himself for appearances, etc. You mentioned how you run everything through your company that you do. It is a great business model. Can you elaborate on some specifics, things to consider? I'm considering a side business and a couple of other options.
It needs to be an S-Corp.
Do you have an hour, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, when I heard right now, and I haven't checked, but I heard that the S-Corp in Nevada is the most advantageous. But I haven't looked into it because I set mine up in Florida 30 fucking years ago or 35 years ago. So,
So any business, Scott, any businesses that you undertake, you should have the protection of a corporate structure. It shields you personally from any liability. But more than that, it allows you the advantages, the tax advantages, tax advantages for your business. Your business is going to take some capital to start up. It's going to incur expenses, and you're able to separately from your income claim that. I have, what do I have? I have three, I guess, kayfabe commentaries, of course, which at this point isn't an active production company, but we still manage the library and license out content, and that still generates money. And then I have, we have this company here, which handles the show. I have another one that handles my publishing. And so you kind of keep everything in its own bucket, and you're employed by those companies.
Yep.
Phenompi, sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. The random unexpected $400 Gucci beanie roasts Kevin shoots out of nowhere, makes listening to the whole show worthwhile. Okay, so then I will accept the barbs from the $2,000 Toomey guy for my
no, you
well-made
said it was $400 beanie.
luxury.
I said $1,100 to me. You can't bump it up. I'm not calling it an $800 fucking beanie.
It was a $395 beanie. You bumped
And
it
I
up to
bumped
$400.
it to 400. You're doubling the price of my Toomey. See, because you know that you're fucking dead wrong.
Moss wrong. The answer was 7. Moss Headmay 1726. You guys say there's no 20-something-year-olds listening to this podcast, but I'm 20, and I just like old wrestling. That was followed by Brandon Dunn, who said, 24-year-old here, watched every ep, not all old dogs here. I'm heartened by that a little bit, Kevin.
Well, yeah.
That we appeal to that.
Well, it's somebody that's smart enough to realize.
Well, they're wise beyond their years.
Well, no, that you get wisdom. Like, that's the reason you talk to people that are in their 60s, because they've already. I was watching a clip of Bill Murray on Stern, and he was talking about when he came down. He was hitchhiking, came down from Canada, and the guy that brought him over the border was like, once they got over the border, like a half a mile, the guy pulled over, put his blinkers on, and started throwing up outside the car. And Bill Murray is telling it with like this smirk on his face, and Stern says to him, like, those are great times, birthday. He goes, fuck yeah. He goes, all your best stories and all your best times are the times in your life when you don't know where your next meal's coming from, or you don't, like, you're trying to make it in an industry and you don't know if you're going to make it. You're 5 in a car, you're 3 in a room, somebody's on doing rock, paper, scissors to find out who's going to sleep on the rollaway. Like, those are your stories. The stories aren't that great when, so I get there and the Suburban's 5 minutes late to pick me up.
Right.
And the guy takes like 2 minutes to get my bag in the back while I'm sitting there trying to find the charging port. It's like it kind of loses its.
Yeah, listen, cleaning up certainly makes you less interesting.
Yeah,
sure.
and but at the same time, it's like when people say like he doesn't like it surfaced again the Alvarez and what's the kid's name? Lance Hoyt saying that I didn't get the business. And I just look at it and I'm thinking like, how do I not get the business? Like I broke in at 30. I was a world champion at 34. Obviously I did. Then again, I was 6'10". So.
And not blind, which is
Yeah,
really.
but I mean, there's not many.
I think they consider, Kevin, there's a segment of people that if you didn't live your whole life dreaming about being a wrestler, wanting to do this since you were 5, lying when you were 15 to get into a ring and said you were 18, that in some way discredits the journey. And to some, that weighs more than having been a world champion, working for all the major companies, and making $1 gazillion.
Yeah, but doesn't making 6 figures at a strip joint, like, isn't that like?
If you're not the one in heels, yeah, that's impressive. Yeah,
yeah, like driving a 2-year-old Cadillac, your wife driving a brand new fucking Mustang convertible. I think that those things, obviously, you either can make money or you can't make money. You either know how to hustle or you don't. And if you have an acumen for business, if I had to fucking be a trader, I'm sure that fucking I would, number one, I could pony up to somebody and learn as I fucking went along. But I mean, anything is just, if you have a business sense and you have common sense, you can fucking make it in anything.
Got to put in the sweat, though.
Yeah, you got to put it in the sweat, but that's a give me. I'm going to grind at anything I do.
Not everyone's like that, though, Kev.
Well, those are the motherfuckers that are saying fucking, yeah, fuck off.
No, I know. It's annoying when someone goes, "Oh, well, not everyone's lucky enough to go." Hold on.
Yeah, not everybody's lucky
Luck
enough
has
to
never.
have. Yeah, not every. That's when people see me out someplace and they say, "How old are you?" And I'll say, "I'm 65." Like, what did I see the other day? I was watching Mobland. I know you don't care for it, but I was watching it, and Pierce Bronson was on TV without a shirt on. And I said to my wife, I said, he's not in bad shape for however old he is. And my wife said, well, I don't think he's in very good shape. I said, fuck, he's got to be. And I looked him up, and he was 72. And I said, holy fuck, Pierce Bronson is 6 years older than me? Because I'm going to be 66 in July. And I looked at that, and I went, fuck. Like, yeah, okay.
You're doing all right.
Yeah, no, but I just, it's like there was a guy that wanted to know my supplements and what I did and everything else. And one of the major things that I think of major importance is you have to do it once you get below. I think the point's 400. Some doctors will say before that, but when I went below 400, I started TRT. I was 51, I think. 50? No. I was 51 when I started TRT. And I hadn't taken anabolics since probably I was Oz.
Wow.
I hadn't taken anabolics. I had taken growth hormone. Definitely took growth hormone when I tore my quad, but I didn't. I just couldn't get on TRT, and I wasn't going to have a felony conviction because I never ran a lot of gear anyway. But people say like, I'm not talking about TRT. Like, what do you do? I'm like, I get from my doctor 220 milligrams a week. It's 200 cypionate and 20 propionate. It's in a compound. I take that shot every Sunday.
You administer it?
My wife does.
But I'm saying it's done at home. You don't have to
Yeah.
go to a doctor.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, if I go and get my blood, is it in the regular blood panel, or do you have to ask for it specific? Okay.
Number one, you're going to have to find. You have to see if your doctor prescribes it. You need at your age to find
I need to know if I need it.
Well, you need a longevity doctor. You need to go someplace that the doctor is a longevity doctor and just have your blood done by a longevity guy, because he's going to find because your regular doctor who went to Temple in '68 isn't down on what the fuck they're doing blood panel wise for longevity.
I have a younger regular doctor, but I also have an endocrinologist, and I'm seeing her next week. This is somebody who can do this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would have your testosterone checked.
And what's the number? What's the magic number that I'm going to not want to go below?
You're going to be way below 400.
How do you know?
Do you wake up with fucking wood every morning?
I can't tell you if it's every, but I mean, everything's
I'm
working.
Not talking about I'm
need.
not talking about a piss boner. I'm talking about wood.
Well, there's no difficulty in that arena. Is
No,
that
I'm
the
not
only way to know?
talking about getting stimulated. I'm talking about waking up with no stimulation and having, that's when you're 16, you wake up with wood.
Well, how do you know if it's a piss boner or a wood boner? You get up, it's there.
If you get up, you piss. If you don't, you just fucking roll over and grind it in the mattress. Or your fucking partner.
And with the confidence that you told me I'm going to be way below. And the
How old are
example
you now?
cite for me, I'm 52.
Yeah, you're going to be way below.
Look at my skin. But I feel like I'm overperforming for 52. In some areas.
You don't have any fucking muscle. You're taking a drug that eats your muscle.
A drug that keeps me from having sugar issues and triglycerides
eats your muscle.
Through the roof.
Guess what one of your muscles are?
The wood.
No, your heart.
Oh, my heart. Yes.
That's a fucking muscle.
But they're showing now that the one I'm on actually contributes to heart health. There are multiple articles I've seen about that.
I've also seen multiple articles about it that aren't fucking good.
I could show you articles that say that that the moon landing was a work, and so was 9/11. There's shit everywhere.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
What's the number? Just give me the fucking number. You think I'm going to be under it? That's fine, but I want to know what it is so that I can go tell her I want to test it next
It's
week.
got to be above it. She'll know. She's an endocrinologist. She'll want you at fucking 800.
Okay. Now, if I get to 800, my hair falls out rapidly?
No.
My balls shrink? What happens if I'm on the testosterone? What are the negative side effects that I could possibly have?
The negative side effects of testosterone, if you're that fucking low.
Am I going to be Am I going to be in a rage all the time?
No.
Make me irritable?
No.
Overly aggressive? Less sensitive? Will I not want to go to the theater anymore?
Do you fucking
Won't want to see Romeo and Juliet?
Watching fucking Reefer Madness is your fucking drug documentary or what? Fucking 1930?
Dominic DeRubies. The last few minutes of Game 1 of the Knicks-Pacers series was absolutely insane. The NBA playoff basketball, when the games are close, is the best postseason product of all sports. Kev, are you taping or do you want an update? I have it on.
What's the score?
Knicks by 14 with 3 minutes left in the second quarter, 50-36. We be getting a game 6, brother.
Whew. Fucking you want to make that call at half?
No, not in this series. Definitely not. I said to you last week, when can you turn it off? Apparently never. So he brings up Game 1. I want to go to the more recent one.
Game 4.
This will be, let me see, this will air Monday, so there will have been
2 more.
2 more before this airs. So this could be all over by the time this is over. But after Game 4, I kind of wrote off, as much as I'd want the series to continue, and I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'm here, so you get swept up into it a little bit.
Down 3-1 and you're fucked.
Well,
You're not going to win 3 in a row.
but you, of all people, when I called you or texted you after the Knicks win, and I said, "What happened tonight?"
I said Vegas.
You said Vegas, exactly.
Exactly.
You said they need this to go longer. You can't
I
have
said,
a New York team on a network.
Could you imagine fucking sitting there at fucking ABC Sports going, so let me get this right. We got Oklahoma City playing Indianapolis
In the finals.
that fucking 29 versus 37 metropolitan areas. You look at Oklahoma City, there's like one tall building. It's like, fuck.
So, an Oklahoma City Thunder versus Indiana or New York. Give me an analysis of each of those series. What's the
Well, it's gonna be Indiana.
Well, you don't know that.
Okay.
Still 14 points. 2:56 left in the second.
A betting man would say that it's going to be Indiana.
Yes, sure, absolutely. So that series versus a possible, if the Knicks had gotten in, more dominant against
number one. If the Knicks go 7, because
I know where you're going.
The Knicks have to go 7 to win this.
Right, so they're going to be exhausted.
So OKC got done playing last night, and it wasn't a game at half. So you got a young OKC that plays the best defense. That's probably the deepest team in the league. Against somebody that's going to be, if either one of these other 2 teams go 7, they're going to be fucking beat. And you've got OKC at home. OKC's going to have 4 of the 7. So
Better game with the Pacers, though, probably for the tempo of the game.
Tempo of the
Speed
game,
of the
yeah. Tempo of the game, but I just don't think that. I don't think the Knicks are going to be able to just. The Knicks haven't scored 129 points like this year, and I think they've done it twice in this series. I mean, it's like they're playing way above their threshold.
Well, what would you? You're the coach. You're the coach. Thibodeau, pronounce it. What do you change? What do you need to happen out there, just to get through this series? Another team to show up off the bench? Maybe?
No, I mean it's the game is so dominated by the 3-point shot that, like last night, Minnesota, I want to think they were like 3 for 19 at half, or 3 for 21 at half. Like I mean, I don't know what Indiana is right now, but I'm sure like when Indiana came back and won that game, and that Highsmith, whatever the fuck his name is, hit those 5 threes. That's how quick this game can change. You know, like you can score 15 points in fucking 2 minutes, easy. You just got to get. You can score. You can go on an 18-2 run in 2 minutes with the proper amount of stops. So it's like, I just don't think.
Last game, the Pacers win Game 4.
Right.
They launched, New York launched 28 threes, attempted 28 threes, and 32 for Indiana. So, as opposed to regular field goals, 82 for.
That's
So
all.
about,
Those are combined.
and then 88. They were 45 of 88. Indiana was, and 38 of 82 field goals. Oh, you're saying that the 3-pointers are in the field goal count?
Yeah.
It's a separate stat, though.
No, it's the field goal count. Then there's the stat for the threes.
Right. Okay. So the threes, if they're shooting 28 threes a game, or 32 in Indiana's case, you're right. How many of, I would wonder how many of those came in the fourth quarter, right? As later in the game. You know what? Maybe not game 4. Game 3 was probably a better gauge of that. But yeah, so things can kind of turn on a dime. Fun for the viewer, of course. But it is a different kind of game. It's a different kind of pace.
Yeah, the game is so different now.
Yeah.
I mean, they bring Robinson in just to fucking get offensive rebounds to toss back out to 3 points.
Exactly. And then
Van Gundy sits there every fucking game and says, just foul him. Like, if you got somebody there, foul him, because eventually he's going to go on the line and he's a fucking 34% free throw.
Yeah.
But they don't foul him.
And then he would swap out with Towns, right?
Well, they play them together a lot.
But but with Towns, you get the better free throw shooting, and then you get the 3-point threat. It's awkward to watch him. Towns. I think that his risk taking, shall we say, he takes too many chances. He moved the needle a little bit the other night, which was exciting.
He scored 20 points in the fourth.
I know. That's the night that I'm talking about. But I think it becomes too centered around him. And Jesus, he was drilling threes. How many fucking feet out was he for some of those?
Fuck, 30.
When he'd launch him, I'd be like, are you out of your mind? Go underneath. But he was hitting them, some of them. So,
as I said, the game is so fucking different now.
Yeah. So we're, what are we, headed to the half? 9 seconds? Okay. So Knicks maintaining a lead, 11 at the half. We'll see where it goes.
So it's 11 at the half now.
Yeah. 9 seconds left.
But it's 11. It went from 15 to 11.
14 to 11. Yeah.
Okay, so 11. So 11 is fucking, that's so fast.
Yeah, I mean, I did hear somewhere, one of the pundits I was listening to said...
Steve, pull it up so I can see the New York's. Stop. No, I just want to see what they scored in the... Yeah. Yeah, you know, when you look at it, I mean, they got outscored by 5, they got outscored by 7, so...
Looks like
does it have the 3-point shooting anywhere? Oh.
Look for box score on the top, Steve. On the top menu. I can't see it. They'll have a team total at the bottom of each. There you go. Let's see. All right, so
3-pointers. Actually, fucking the Pacers are out shooting them. So it's got to be offensive rebounds.
Well, but the field goal percentages too. New York's draining over 15%, whereas Indiana's at 37%. So
5 for 5, 8 for 11.
Assists are pretty comparable. Steals pretty comparable. Turnovers pretty comparable.
Points in the paint
underneath.
Huge.
Owning it underneath 32 points for New York.
That's huge. So,
all right,
there's your difference. Points in the paint.
See what happens coming out of the half. Everyone out there who wants to join our listeners, viewers who are in the studio with us. They join us for the pregame show. They're able to ask Kev some questions later on. Go to kliqthistv.com, join the 11 Soft Club, and be here with us. Like Britt, who says, Uncle Kevin Sean got me scared to even turn 30. Getting old sounds like a test. How the hell old are you, Britt? You're not 30 yet. You got your whole life ahead. You don't worry. Don't listen to this shit. Don't worry about it. Sean, you'll find the best advice I took. Oh, Don Dugan. Best advice he took from you was TRT. Okay. It's working out for you, Don. All right. Liette Belanger. Hello, Big Sexy from Montreal. You are my gift.
I love Montreal.
A bad days at works, I think they're saying.
Beautiful city. 29.
29.
I broke in the business at 29.
Hey, Steve, did what was her name? Tal from last week show up? She wrote that
Disraeli?
Yeah, she wrote a really nice post after she indicated that she had to leave the show because they were shelling with rockets outside. And then she put a full post. She's not in here tonight. Okay. Curious. Before I follow up, make sure she's okay and everything. She wrote a nice thing about how it's crazy. Kev, you forget this stuff, what's going on, right? Like, we're sitting here laughing about whatever.
You know what? When I was in Europe, that's one thing, is because they get a whole different brand of news over there. And, I mean, shit, when the time I was in Rome, for a fucking brief probably 24 hours, I thought Pakistan and India were gonna go.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody's seen some of the footage of what India did as far as, I mean, it's Syria, Gaza worthy, some of the fucking areas of destruction that India fucking hit.
It's some of the heaviest in decades, they said. There she is. Hey, Tal. Good. Glad you're all right.
That's sweetheart.
That was a nice thing you sent us, and I posted it.
Be safe.
Just because it's good for perspective. You need stuff like that.
But see, we're not even getting any news that there's any incoming Hezbollah rockets to any Israel establishments.
You're right.
Because the talking point is that the Palestinians aren't getting food. That's the talking point.
And for all this talk of ceasefire and whatnot.
Well, I mean, there's people talking about a ceasefire, and they've still got 50 hostages.
Yeah, I know. Indeed. On more trivial fronts, sometimes transitions are just impossible, Kev. I watched Raw. I watched Seth, Paul, Heyman, Bronson Reed, and Bronn Breakker stand in the ring and do, I think, what was probably 15, 20-minute promo that I had absolutely, until things went sideways, no idea what was being talked about. Total control, total domination, and total power is what Seth was saying his blueprint is, his plan now. Now, I lived through an era, and I know a few of the guys that were involved in a big company that had control, domination on the card, and power. And it didn't look like the four cats that were in the ring that night. These people that I know were all at the top of the card with gold. So, just one champion talking about that ring's kind of empty to me. But my memory must be longer than everybody else's. Kev, how about the show open this week? A lot of Heyman.
But to me, it's fine because I mean, Paul does a really good job of narration of what they're. But I just think that then he turns around and gives it to Rollins, and Rollins basically redundantly says the exact same thing. Like either Paul can't call him the architect, and then he can't. Like, I don't need to hear it twice.
Right. So so Bronn, who a couple of months ago, I mean, we were really, I think both of us equally hot on his potential in the ring as a worker. I haven't heard enough talking to know if that's going to do anything.
He's ready anytime you want to put a rocket up his ass.
But they're doing this bulldog bodyguard thing, and is it a waste of a talent?
No, I think it elevates him because he's seen in the main event,
Mm-hmm.
in that main event bracket. I'll
Better
tell you one thing. If you go, let's go back to Saturday to the main event, and fuck, it was nice to see Cody.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it was nice to see him in a tracksuit come down and throw punches.
Are they taking your advice?
I don't give a fuck what they're doing. I'm not giving advice. I give observations. They can do whatever the fuck they want with it. They can tell me to go fuck myself. They know I'm at that point in my life where I'm never gonna watch Raw again until next week. So I watch Raw, and I watched the. Now I waited till the Peacock finished, and then I kind of hand chose what I watched because again I'm balls deep in basketball right now, so it's just like I can only get so much airtime in my recliner with my wife before she goes, uncle.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I don't want to get past something you said earlier. Is it better to be seen in a mute capacity in a main event angle, supporting others, or be a dominant player in like an intercontinental level feud?
Well, the structure when I was with the WWF
Mm-hmm.
was there was the World Championship,
Mm-hmm.
the world title, and then there was the IC, and then there was the tag, and that was it.
Right.
So that IC belt was gold.
Right.
And me as Diesel in a mute position, watching like what Bronson is learning from a standpoint of sitting in the TV production room as they're putting together what they're going to do, and he's in there with Heyman and Rollins. I mean, like to be under that learning tree as opposed to, somebody that doesn't have, that experience. Jesus, Heyman was running the Dangerous Alliance when Steve Austin was on his way up.
Mm-hmm.
Is stunning, stunning Steve. So, it's
like being a bit player in The Godfather versus maybe a
but
lead role in Xanadu.
Not even a bit player. You're not a bit player.
Well, I'm saying a bit player in that he's not doing anything of consequence.
He was in the main event of Raw last week or week before.
Mm-hmm. As far as moving the storyline and whatnot. Yeah. I get it. I get it. There was a moment when, did you see when, what was the large Viking? Ebor, I guess, right?
Yes.
Threw Kofi into the apron screen. You know, the screens now, the
And
digital.
the screen.
And they played a flicker, a static
Yeah.
flicker. I love those little production details.
And
like
then he
that.
turned and smashed his back into it, and it did it again.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
Did you see when he fucking splashed Kofi?
Yes.
And they fucking did the save on Kofi?
Yeah.
And Kofi's shoulders never got off the mat because all they did was fucking, like, you know, when a house lands on you, guess what? You really can't fucking kick the side of the house.
Exactly.
You just take the fucking ruby red slippers and move on.
But I love watching their production. There's nothing that comes close to the
No.
WWE team, and I wish I knew some names, but I'll do better next time with that if I'm going to send them props. Even just the live cutting, and now this is nothing new when they would cut on Impact, not necessarily to hide a miss, but like in a movie where, like the super kick. Okay, so there was a spot where Jay is super kicking people, I guess Bronn on one side and then someone on the other. He's super kicking back and forth. And there were these tight cuts, perfect on Impact, so perfectly timed that it was movie quality. And yeah, the angles obscured how much contact was being made, but I don't think that was the point, because the impact of the cut, when it lines up with the impact of the foot, it heightens it.
And the thing is like, one thing else, like, I watched that AEW match with Hangman and oh fuck.
What, did you lose a bet?
No, because I with Osprey, and Osprey does, like, all of his kicks, he fucking slaps his thigh.
Right. That was the old Rock thing, and he would throw the one hand and the other hand was hitting his thigh. Yeah. I think every week you should forget Will Ospreay's name and see how long before Wesley turns off his computer and no longer work on the show.
It's just, I want to call him the fucking the kid with his finger in the dike after that haircut. The little Dutch boy.
Listen, anytime you can reference finger in the dike, I'm a happy guy. Kev, we talk sometimes about psychology of the matches these days. And just some booking stuff, which maybe could be a little smarter, maybe some instinct that you want to see in a younger worker that maybe it doesn't deliver in the course of a match. But isn't today's product mostly based on, and this isn't I'm not shooting on WWE, it's a testament to the work they do, in the fact that people just want to watch the superhero. Did you pay attention that George Reeves or Christopher Reeves, like how well the punch was thrown? You want to see Superman kick ass, right? So between the curated entrances, the personalized music everybody gets, the costumes and outfits consistent with character, that kids want to go see Seth Rollins, not necessarily see him get his ass kicked or see him defend a title or win a title. They want to see Seth Rollins do his thing and hear the song and pop when it plays and watch and that was the old man's model, back with the creation of Hogan. And now it's just been like assembly line perfected for each of the characters. I mean, that's what it's about.
And
now,
it's bred in the system and NXT and,
Yeah, but I mean, that's the company's creation. Is
I know. I'm just saying, though,
products.
it becomes Pixar, it becomes Disney, it becomes
Marvel.
Get used to, you get used to a style, a certain stylistic approach to the show. Of all the movie franchises out there, what do you think has drawn the most money of all the movie franchises? It's like $10 billion.
Well, clearly what they showed, King Hua, or whatever it was called, that made
No, not that one.
$1.7 trillion.
No, it was
An American movie?
No, I'm talking about for a franchise.
Right, but an
Like,
English movie franchise? I
yeah.
would say Star Wars.
It's Marvel.
Yeah, maybe there's 65,000 of them. So
The
yeah,
Marvel universe.
yeah, there it is, 31. Boy, was I off. 31 billion for Marvel versus 10 for Star Wars.
But if
Look
you
at
do,
James Bond.
If you do it by films, though,
If you do the average, yeah, because there's 36 Marvel films and 12 Star Wars, right? Got it.
but the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you still got the Avengers down there. You've got X-Men down there. You got
But
Spider-Man.
if they're part of that, why did they separate it that way?
Because I think they take them separate.
And not all of them are part of it. Of the 16 Spider-Man films, only 3 of them are MCU films, because Sony owned it before.
Okay. See, that's the kind of knowledge that I wish I had about something nowadays. I wouldn't want it about this, but I want it about something.
What's 9 and 10? Is one of them Avatar, or is it
DC? So if anyone's listening and not watching, number 1 was the Marvel Universe with 36 billion. 2 was Spider-Man with 11. Star Wars was 3 with 10. Wizarding World, I'm guessing that's Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Yes.
9. James Bond, 7 billion. Avengers, 7.7 billion. Now we're getting into fractions. X-Men, 7.6 billion. Fast and the Furious, 7.3. DC Universe, 7.1. Batman at 10 with 7.0. So, yes, you're absolutely correct. And by a large margin, it was, 36 and I think 11 was the next one? So, yeah, it's a big, 31 and 11. Yeah, 31 billion versus 11 billion.
20 billion.
It's insane. That's insane. Those are high numbers, and that brings us to the high spot of the show, brought to you by our friends Mickey Ray Sinatra, Courtney, and their Get Blitzed Lit Aid. I think the wedding's coming up. I was talking to Mickey a little bit about the distribution for the incredible Get Blitzed Lit Aid mixers, the Kliq This mixers. And I think the wedding is upcoming this week. But what I'm talking about now is 2 products for them. The Delta 9 nano-infused THC sip and syrup. And if you don't want to do the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in your kitchen, just grab the Get Blitzed Lit Aid mixers. Kev's Key Lime and Sean's Blue Raz. 5 milligrams of love in there for you. And if you do the Delta 9 sip and syrup, it's like THC on steroids. It's a syrup. You mix it in any beverage, right? Just not more than a teaspoon. All you need to just get into that chill mode. Because there is a fast onset, nano-infused means it goes right to your bloodstream, bypassing the breakdown in the liver. So we're talking 5 to 15 minutes. If you're in Maryland, you can grab all this at a Stay Lit smoke shop. But for the rest of us, it's legal to ship from the Get Blitzed website to almost all 50 states without a med card, as long as you're over 21. And you could save 15% by entering the code KLIQ at checkout. Go to get-blitzed.com. That's get-blitzed.com and try the Delta 9 THC Sip and Syrup Lit Aid. Or get the Kliq This Lit Aid mixers. They're the best you ever had. I want you to get it. I want you to share it on social. Give us the reviews. Put the reviews out there. You're our Kliq army. It's up to you to do these things. Get-blitzed.com. Use the promo code Kliq. You can get a 15% off. Thank you. Happy wedding day, Mickey and Courtney.
Yes.
I expect pictures of the wedding night. Thank you. Also hitting the news today, as a matter of fact, was it appears that John Laurinaitis has had the suit against him dropped by the Janelle Grant team in exchange for him flipping to that side for testimony. though I don't know any details as to what he'll be testifying to. Laurinaitis, Kevin, is just such a polarizing figure. And even in this, even in allegations of trafficking, continues to be a polarizing figure and a controversial figure. So frequently throughout my years of talking to you wrestler types, a lot of
What exactly is a wrestler type?
Oh, that's a whole other discussion. People that get in a ring and work in the profession of professional wrestling and have to
There's
take
an actual
a trope for you guys. Yes, usually very paranoid, very distrusting in business. Of course, this isn't everybody, but generally, paper thin egos. Very easy to hurt the ego of a wrestler.
wow.
And when we get to distrust, well, are you a basketball player or a wrestler? You were a wrestler by proxy, right? You were an athlete.
I'm an athlete.
So, but almost.
But I still wrestled. I wrestled for 30 fucking years.
You did. But there's a. I don't know if it's adopted, the culture of wrestling, these qualities of which I speak, or if it comes from wanting to be a wrestler when you're 5 and lying. Well, everything we said before that you didn't do. I don't know if it's chicken or the egg. Well, you would disagree with my assessment of many in the business?
Yeah. I think that I mean, if I just...
You don't think there's a paranoia in professional wrestling?
But I mean, if I
From
look
being
at like...
fucked over by...
If I look at like the people that I still am in contact with, it's
maybe not them.
Well, I can only go by that. I mean...
You've talked to thousands of wrestlers over your lifetime.
No, I have not talked to thousands.
Hundreds.
You probably talked to more than I have.
Maybe I have, so just take my word for it and agree with me. To a person, not a lot of nice things, business-wise, said about John Laurinaitis from those that worked with him. And as far as I can recall, it was mostly professional distaste. He never robbed anyone of money. He never fucked anyone's wife. It was all that he was just an asshole to deal with on the job.
But the old time story is that's how he got his push in All Japan was he was
with right.
Baba's wife.
Right. Okay.
So,
but I don't think that's why anyone doesn't like him.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't in All Japan.
You weren't Baba. Baba. But is he an asshole? If I had to deal with him, if he was the agent, if he was the executive at the arena, would I be like, I want to knock this motherfucker out?
Depends on where you are in the fucking...
in the hierarchy, right?
Yeah.
That's what it always comes down to, right?
It's like anything else.
But would he shit on an underneath guy? Would he treat him disrespectfully? Did you see that?
He was one of those guys that would come in and to show his worth to the office, he would say, hey, I know how we can fuck these guys. We'll put a time clock and they got to sign in. And if they're not in by a certain time, then we'll fine them. And then that's why we can get all this, some of this fucking guaranteed money that we got all these guys because they won't show up at 11 o'clock.
So this is very Trump administration.
Not understanding that the number one thing that differentiates you from being an employee to being a fucking 1099
contractor, right,
is fucking not having to show up to work on a certain time.
Absolutely correct.
So, I mean...
Did he fine you?
No, I never got fined.
You never paid a fine for him. But he fined people, no doubt.
Sure he did.
I heard stories all the time, people getting fined.
I remember we had that at TNA. We had the fucking sign-in sheet, and I used to put next to my name, 1099.
That's great.
Never fucking heard a word.
So you never had a problem with Johnny Ace?
No, because by the time I had any kind of a relationship with him, then it was nothing he was going to do.
Wouldn't you have worked with him also WWE, but then
He was a dick at WCW.
then WCW, right? That's what I was gonna say.
It was at WCW before. Then he went to WWE.
WCW first, then okay,
because they shut down.
right. Oh, was that? I didn't realize that's when he made the move when they absorbed the company.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. And then I was friends with the Bellas, and I was friends with their mom, and then Johnny started seeing the mom, ended up marrying her, so it was like I didn't, they were my friends, so.
Mm-hmm. All right. I was just always want someone's take on him. He continues to be.
I'm it's one of those things like his life is fucked. Like he's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's at the point where I mean, I don't see him at signings. I don't know what he's doing for money. I mean, I'm sure his life is destroyed by this. So, I don't believe in the pile on fucking rule. I mean, his life is shit. So I'm not gonna sit here and fucking, poor.
Well, it was more outside of these events. I was just the Laurinaitis story is always, is interesting. Also getting reports.
Yeah, but you don't. I mean, if you're involved in the situation,
yeah,
that he's involved in, that he's cutting a deal with,
right.
You obviously have continually made bad decisions. Like I know for a fact that I'm not going to be called on the witness stand at the P. Diddy fucking trial.
No.
Or this trial.
Didn't slurp man juice off anyone's wife?
No. I mean, I tell my wife all the time, you always say that I was so fucking horrible, yet I don't know.
Wait, you say to your wife that she always said you were horrible?
Yeah, she would always say.
As a younger man?
No, just in the business.
Oh.
She said, it was. And I'm not saying I was an angel by any fucking means, but a lot changes when you're like, it's soon to be 66. Your threshold to point a finger at somebody else is, I look in the mirror every day. I'm so fucking happy I'm alive. And I wish I deal with, every day I deal with second guessing decisions and things that I did with my son that I wish if I knew what I knew now, then there's so many things I would have changed, but I didn't. And there's nothing I can do about it except just.
But Kevin, didn't you get so much more right than you got wrong? Everyone gets something wrong as a parent.
Yeah, but some of the things I got wrong just.
He wouldn't have been the person he was without you, Kevin, and without Tamara. I don't want to discount her role.
No,
everyone loved T.
Yeah, I understand that, but it was just, I don't think that he was such especially when he got sick towards the end, and he got better. And then it was just like, all of a sudden I just realized, how fragile he was.
Mm.
And it's just, And I was, I was never the great Santini, but I was kind of a little bit of a rub some dirt on it kind of a dad. Like, like I,
You said to me, and I think everyone here one time, answering anyone being critical of any decisions you may have made, you said, I raised a man.
yeah,
He was a man.
yeah, it wasn't a little boy.
And if not for, unfortunate health turns, he would have been a fine man.
Because I raised him with the blueprint of I'm 34 now, and I got a baby. I got 2 more years. And that's when my dad died. So I got everything was always that. Like when I made it to 40, I felt I was on borrowed time. So I always had to it was like crash course, like teach him as much as I could. I forget there was a movie that came out and the dad made videos, like VHSs to give to his son. I think he was terminal and he wanted him to have as much knowledge as he could possibly give his son before he passed. And I think that was kind of where I came from for a lot of his life. And at the same time, I was fucking on the road. I was on the road a lot. Not as like I was, when I was with the WWE, but you know, we were still on the road. Scott and I were probably on the road, let's say 185 days a year.
I get that. And he wouldn't have had a lot of what he did have. Your family wouldn't have had a lot of what they had you not done that. And as he got older, he understood that, obviously. As a 9-10-year-old, you just want your dad home.
He understood as we got older. Because I always hustled. I never stopped hustling.
Yeah, well, let yourself off the hook a little. He was bright. He was loved.
Yeah, no,
I
guess
it's
just
that doesn't happen without parents.
June 12th will be his 29th birthday. Yeah, it would have been his 29th birthday. So, and I look back at like Jim Morrison who died at 20, like all the people that 27 club,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like my son didn't make it to that. My son made it to 26. And I'm just like, fuck, man. But at the same time, because of his autism and because of a lot of things that he was a homebody. He spent a lot of time at home.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's studies that have been done that once your child turns 18, you spend like 2 years of actual time with your kid after that.
Oh, God. Wow.
Once they're 18, you spend 2 years of your life with them. And we spent 26 years with my son. So we got those 2 years plus 6. So, I mean, I'm blessed to have him as my son at all, but just, my wife and I both felt we were, and then just I went over it a million times, but just to be there, to know he wasn't in any pain, to know he wasn't scared, to know he wasn't, and to watch him go, that it was, and I think he did that for us because, I mean, I see these parents, man, that still don't have their child 10 years later, or still don't know what happened to them, that agony is just, because it's hard enough to know, paint by numbers what happened to your kid. Because in the end, when that monitor flatlines, it's just, whew. doesn't make fucking the playoffs or Raw or fucking Trump's tariffs or any of that shit mean fucking nothing. And I'm starting on a daily basis to try to take 2 hours a day where I don't do, like, I cut my social media way down.
Mm-hmm.
I just fucking don't fuck with it. And even though I'm doing more appearances this year than I have, I'm doing it because I got out of the habit of doing it, and I got out of the habit of fucking traveling. And if something ever happened where I had to bust my ass again, like, you don't want to be completely out of fucking fighting shape,
Yeah.
you know? Like, you want to
Yeah.
still be able to fucking, to grind a little bit if you have to. So this year I'm doing a little bit more than normal, but like Tamara and I said the other day, we took the Cadillac out, and we took a drive, and it was just kind of like, I don't know, it was just kind of chill. No music on, just talking and just driving.
Mm-hmm. Grounding yourself a little,
Yeah.
Connect. He's Kevin. I'm Sean. You know that already, or you're listening to the wrong show. Then you also probably know Blue Chew is a very big part of our lives here. Blue Chew been with us from the beginning. You chew it and you do it. That's all you got to do. Have better sex with Blue Chew. They're the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. And starting now, Blue Chew offers a combo so strong, it'll knock your socks off. And your neighbors, too, when they hear what's going on coming out of your window. Blue Chew Max is what I'm talking about. It combines the active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis into one chewable tablet. The combo acts fast and lasts. Guys, it's just about being ready. This isn't going to just pop a hammer in your pants instantly. You're going to be ready to go when you need to. All right, it's a few clicks away when you go sign up at BlueChew.com and consult with one of their licensed medical providers. And then once you're approved, ba-boom, you get your prescription within days. Best part about this is it's all online. The consultation's online. The process is online. You shop for the pills online. The tablets online. And they show up. No visits to a doctor's office. No awkward conversations. None of that shit. And they're just here to make life easier by getting harder. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. We've got our bangin' special deal for our listeners. Try your first month free. Just use the promo code NASH, pay $5 shipping. That's promo code NASH at BlueChew.com. And your package will get a package in just days. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. From the jump, Kevin, that leads us to Florida Man and Jersey Guy. 2 headlines, 2 actual stories. One, you will hear the echoes of a Jersey guy in the story, and similarly for a Florida man. First headline. Man kidnaps ex-girlfriend after placing a tracking device in her car and shoving her in the trunk and taking off. And the second story, man wanted for 2 bank robberies arrested after years on the run in Ukraine. So the first one, the man who kidnapped, put her in the trunk and forgot, I guess, he'd put a tracking device on her car to stalk her. And then the guy who robbed a couple of banks and ran to the Ukraine to blend in.
God, but neither one of those have any fucking any tips to you could do both. I'm just gonna go on accessibility to mesh into the Ukraine would be probably easier if you were around more Ukrainian people, which would probably be Jersey. So I'm going to say the Ukrainian is Jersey. And
As ridiculous as your reasoning is, it often gets you to the right place. You are correct. The Florida man was out of, let's see what city this is here. Palmetto. A Palmetto man is behind bars, accused of kidnapping his ex-girlfriend. Hillsborough County deputies went to the home.
God, that's Matt Morgan.
In the 1900 block of 33rd Street Southeast in Ruskin to investigate a possible kidnapping. And there they go. They found him with his tracking device in his girl's car. And then our friend in Jersey was from Berlin Township, New Jersey, Edward DeVoe. I think you showed the picture of Edwin DeVoe before, Steve. It couldn't be the same. Wouldn't that be hot? No, I think you got him backwards. I think that's the Florida guy you showed. Edwin DeVoe looks like Matt Morgan.
Fuck them. They're both criminals.
And they found him in Lviv, Ukraine, after years on the run. True story. All right, hashtag Ask Nash is how you ask Kevin questions, or you could just sign up for the 11 Soft Club at KliqThisTV.com. Just $9.99 a month, and you get to be here, be part of the shows every month. Get them early, get them without commercials, get to talk to us, get to talk to Kev. And Fernum S3J, that's Fernum Schnavitz from back in the day. Kev, he says, happy birthday to my number one fan, Mark.
Sweet.
Kevin, those pizzas you eat 3 times per year, are they all Detroit style? Thanks as always for a great show every week. Is it Mark's birthday?
It was May 20th.
All right.
I brought it up last show.
Oh, okay. I was thinking for a minute that we were being worked by your brother, and he was actually Fernum the entire time. Steve, your mic is on, but please keep it on, because if there's any gas, I want to hear it. Jason Knapp, hey, Kev, last episode you talked about registering and selling, and I totally agree. I've started to follow Penta lately, and I'm very impressed. However, sometimes I feel he has a tendency to oversell a bit. What are your thoughts? I mean, no disrespect. The guy is great.
I was just so happy that he fucking finally went over and is going to Money in the Bank. Like, he got a win.
Yeah.
He got 2 losses. He needed that win.
We were saying after such a huge push to get him
but
on
it's
the
great.
map in the beginning.
He's right. He's going to be one of the, and he'll do great in that ladder match. He'll shine in that. That was well done.
Steve, send us a few folks to wrap us up here from the live audience. Britt, Uncle Kev, SOS, how the fuck do you get these geckos out of the house? Help a Philly girl survive in Florida.
We have a solo cup that you fucking gotta top them with a solo cup
Slide
and
a paper under.
Put a piece of cardboard underneath it, and then fucking take them outside and put them in the bushes.
When we're down there, and usually the screened-in lanai keeps them out, but every once in a while those wily little fuckers get in.
I don't mind the lizards. I don't like the geckos.
Oh, I'm talking about the little lizards, I think.
No, the geckos are the fucking creepy ones.
No.
Man, there was one in my garage that grew like it looked like fucking almost got to be the size of an iguana, and and they're so fast when you turn the light on, man, they scramble. So I bought wasp repellent that had like that jet, and it was foam. Ooh. And as it was going across the fucking side of the wall, I just kind of let it, and it went right into that foam, and it fucking dropped down on the ground, and I fucking sprayed like a pile on it. That man, it looked like something out of Star Trek.
Wow.
That fucking shit ate that motherfucker, and I kind of felt bad because I've been battling him for like a year.
You tortured him to death. My dog had gotten a couple of, she gets them in her mouth, and then will run over and take it out. I don't know what the fuck that would do. And I have to physically take it out of her mouth and walk over and open the thing and throw it out in the gut.
See, my dog will fucking want to eat them.
Yeah, I fear that I think she's probably just playing with it.
There's a thing down here now in Florida. There's this poisonous toad that fucking, if your dog eats it or gets around it, it kills your dog.
Oh, wow. I'll have to keep my eye open for that. Thank you for that heads up on it. Who else? What do we got here? Oh, so Britt, go get that fucking wasp repellent. Pile driver pundit, have you seen the homage to shots from movies that they're recreating on Mets broadcasts?
No.
So these are scenes that the Mets appear in films, and they made a reel about it, I'm guessing. Steve, do you know what the fuck we're talking about here? I see what's happening here. Go ahead. Oh, this is interesting. Okay.
Good, the bad, the ugly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. So they're doing... All right. I'll keep my eye out for that. Those of you that are listening, this is intercutting scenes from films into Mets games. We'll see if there's a... Okay, I see here the shot with the top of the... at Citi Field, similar to the shot from Planet of the Apes with the top of the... All right. That's a little action from The Omen there.
Where would we see those at? It's got to be local Mets. We don't get
the local Mets broadcasts.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't get the Mets down in Florida.
All right. Very creative. I'm all for that. Give me one more, Steve. Have someone wrap us up. Drive it home, as they say. Ivan Garcia. San Diego has one of the best ballparks in America. Any chance you'd be here for Survivor Series this November? It is Thanksgiving weekend.
No.
No dice. We'll hang with you at some point, Ivan.
Yeah.
Ace Ramon have one? We'll get him in there. Do you think we have to storm the Capitol in order to get marijuana decriminalized, or at the very least rescheduled to a lower category? Isn't it happening everywhere? For the most part? At least the decriminalization of it. It might not be outright legal, but I mean, there's no federal law.
No, man, it's still a fucking class 2 felony in Florida if you don't have a card.
All right.
Same as cocaine.
Unbelievable. What age are we in here? So, all right, yeah, we'll work on that. And come see Kevin at an appearance. He's not going to be in San Diego, Ivan, but I was on a show last night. Kev, do you have any signings in the Pittsburgh area?
I think I might in December.
All right, so look for him, Don. You can hang out with him. I was on a show yesterday called The Jersey, Straight Outta Jersey. I don't know why they had me on that. They have like Sopranos actors and shit. And so the guy was like, yeah, I met Kev at a signing once, the host. I guess recently, because he goes, I said, where's Sean? And you go, why would Sean be here? I said, did you know who you were talking? There's a lot of Seans in his life. You're going to have to be much more specific next time, Joe. That was Joe Zapata of the podcast. I want to remind everyone that. Go ahead. You were going to say?
No, that is true. When I talk to my wife, I always have to say Oliver, Waltman, or Michaels.
Right. That's true. Kliq, this is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristen, Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristen Nash, copyright 2025, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, do you want to do another one?
Yes. What day is the next one?
Monday again.
Let us free. The customer service never answers the